So here's a way that I have found to tell somebody's an Enneagram heart type, otherwise known as an image type, otherwise known as an Enneagram 2, 3, or 4. I really didn't understand how people described image types, like when I was really getting serious about trying to type people. So like a year and a half ago, I would start trying to like pay attention to my body and like what kind of tells was I getting when I was around people? How did they make me feel? And what I noticed was that image types specifically make me feel like I'm being elbowed out of the way. Like they're trying to push me with their image. They're trying to push me with whatever it is that they're trying to make sure I see and present to me. It needs to be center stage. And it does have a competitive flavor, whether it's 2, 3, or 4. It's like, and that's why they can seem really affected and fake. And so where this sort of competitive thing comes in is like whether you're consciously trying to position yourself or you're not, depending on, like, doesn't matter if you're an image type or not. If you're presenting something and it comes into conflict with what they're trying to position themselves as, what's their image, they might give you a quick elbow. See, look at me. I'm the one who's X, Y, Z. Do you know someone who's like this? So for 2s, they're always trying to make sure there's some kind of focus on how kind, giving, nurturing, loving they are. They're tapped into your emotional space and the emotional space of others. They know what you need, what others need. They will literally always bring up the topic. They will always bring it back to this. It's like it happens on autopilot. They can't fucking help it. They don't even know they're doing it. And if you push back on it, then they may resort to flattery to win you over, so that they can feel as though they helped you. They may even like to take credit for your successes if they're close to you, as their help was indispensable, whether you actually wanted it or not, and whether or not they actually did help you. For 3s, they're always trying to position themselves as the best at whatever it is that they value. So that could be their job, being popular, being sexy, being competent and efficient and shiny at whatever it is that they deem of value. But because this can shift over time, it can give them a shapeshifter quality. And what they value might be starkly different from other 3s. So this type can be harder to spot sometimes. I notice it most when I'm in like a small group setting of like 3 or more, because they tend to ping off others to highlight things about themselves and draw attention to how much better they are at something. Depending on their wing, with the 4 wing, they'll want to appear more unique, even if they're not. And 2, they'll want to appear more charming and likable and needed, even if they're not. They'll try and outdo you or one-up you by sometimes like literally verbalizing it, and other times it's more underhanded, where they try to prove themselves in real time. And they can get deeply offended when they're not validated or seen for this thing they're supposedly good at, even if they just decided to be good at it in that moment. And it might not even be something that they are good at. So like I said, they just want you to think they are. If they see other people if they see it getting like positive attention and it's something that they might be able to get in on, you know. And if they're not getting the hits that they want, they may actually take on what others see as valuable as their own and totally forget that it came from someone else. For 4s, they're always creating some narrative of tragedy and alienation like performance art. They're always projecting an image of woundedness, shame, and defectiveness. So whatever it is that they're selling you is a defective product, and that's why it's so prized and special. A rotten little ruby. Often 6s and 9s can be confused for 4s, but 6s will still be self-deprecating and not be able to maintain a baseline of like above others or separate and special. They're also more likely to be blasting constantly about how the world sucks if they have a 4 fix versus making it all about themselves. And 9s will have their little image fix tantrums, but eventually self-erase into the swamp of eternal sadness and inertia as their baseline. 4s, on the other hand, will keep the narrative going. They can't function in such a world. There's no depth. It's a barren wasteland. It's ugly. It's hideous. Nothing will ever be quite right. They don't want you to fix it or your pitiful, meaningless compliments. No. They want you to affirm that, yes, they are too precious and special for this hideous, superficial world, and they're the only thing bringing depth and romance to it. They're the most affected by the horrors. They're the only ones who truly see it as it is. They're totally separate. They're great original artists in how they live and speak, even if they're just bohemian layabout losers existing off their parents' trust fund money and using it to create black potato cutout print art in a loft in NYC. They won't tell you that though, because it fucks with their starving, tragic, romantic artist self-image. I have a shadow work and Enneagram course about to drop. This is a great primer for self-work. It'll help you uncover a gold mine within yourself full of personal treasures to transform and use creatively. So get on the wait list for my early bird price at cheatcodesthematrix.com, or find out your Enneagram type. Get typed by me and or Sophie at goblins.shop.